Guide to the Book. The Collected Letters is the collected letters of Reb Noson of Breslov. The letters provide a vivid and intimate portrayal of Reb Noson's life. They also give the reader a chance to see for himself how it is possible to truly live Rebbe Nachman's teachings. History. The letters have been arranged chronologically. At the beginning of each year, we have presented a short historical review of what was then taking place in Reb Noson's life. Notes. Editor's notes by the compiler Rebbe Nachman of Cherin, and publisher's notes appear at several places within the text. These help to clarify certain incidents mentioned in the letters. Sources. Woven into Reb Noson's poetic style are numerous quotes from Scripture, Talmud, and Rebbe Nachman's teachings. However, referencing all these quotes would have interfered with the flow of the text, and so only certain sources, particularly those from Breslov teachings, have been included. In addition, not all of Reb Noson's words could be translated. Honorary titles and the like, although beautiful in the Hebrew original, were deemed too redundant in the English. Publisher's preface. Boatezi all along the brook will sprout fruit-bearing trees. Their leaves shall not wither, they will never cease to bear fruits. Each month there shall be new fruits, for the waters flow from the temple. The fruits will be for food, and their leaves will provide healing. The commentaries explain that as soon as the fruits are plucked, others will immediately follow. The miracle will occur because the waters flow from the holy temple, the place of wonders. The fruits of such a wondrous source will be very sweet for every palate, while the leaves themselves will have the power to cure all illnesses. Ezekiel's vision of the Third Temple era foresaw a tiny brook that begins as a fountain flowing from the temple and extending all the way out to lakes and seas beyond the likes of any natural flow of waters. As the brook flows, it becomes wider and deeper, until it assumes the proportions of a mighty river. Along this brook shall sprout trees, constantly giving forth fresh fruits, defying the laws of nature as we know them. The Talmud uses this teaching as an example of pure, simple faith. If this is what Ezekiel prophesied, then it will come true. One just requires faith and patience to await its anticipated arrival. Rebbe Nachman of Breslov, an outstanding Hasidic master in the Ukraine at the beginning of the 19th century, once remarked, "I am a nachal novea mekor chochma, a flowing brook, a source of wisdom." The acrostic of the Hebrew words spells Nachman, and the temple corresponds to knowledge. Thus, the temple exists today in the mind of each of us. It can be a holy temple if one but attempts to sanctify one's mind. And anyone familiar with Rebbe Nachman's teachings, the brook that flows from the temple, knows that these teachings expand and spread out, assuming the proportions of that mighty river. And all along the brook will sprout fruit-bearing trees. Each chodesh, the fruits will be for food. Monthly is like new. For the Rebbe's teachings would have been a closed book had it not been for his closest disciple, Reb Noson. Based on the Rebbe's fountain of teachings, Reb Noson began originating his own Torah discourses, spreading the Rebbe's teachings to an ever-widening audience of followers. The fruits are fresh and wondrous, bearing daily new fruits. These are found in Reb Noson's magnum opus, A Sea of Knowledge, his 8-volume Likutei Halachot, and also in his flowing prayers, the Likutei Tefillot. But, aside from his voluminous works in Torah, Reb Noson wrote numerous letters to his family, friends, and followers. Preserved by his son, these letters were published after Reb Noson passed away in a book entitled Michtevei Moharnat, Alim Litrufa, the collected letters of Moharnat, Morenu, Harav, Natan, Noson, the leaves of healing. And the letters are more than just history and encouragement, Torah and prayer, through which one can live and feel part of Reb Noson's life, for they reflect Rebbe Nachman's teachings in a view from one who lived them on a daily basis. If ever it can be said about one Breslov book that it contains all of the Rebbe's major teachings, it is Reb Noson's collected letters in the Alim Literufa, letter after letter, paragraph after paragraph, sentence after sentence. Reb Noson packs punch after punch of encouragement and exhortation to utilize one's strength to its utmost, to find one's good points, to remain joyous in the face of difficulties, and to strengthen one's faith in God. And their leaves will provide healing, for these leaves can provide the much-needed cure for our afflicted souls. by favoring our positive aspects and building our self through the ever-flowing brook of knowledge from Rebbe Nachman's wellsprings of wisdom. Most of the letters published were those written to Reb Yitzchak, Reb Noson's son, who lived in nearby Tolshin. Reb Noson once told him to preserve the letters, as a time will come when their importance will be understood. Reb Noson wrote thousands of other letters, but only a few of those survived. Since Reb Noson did not request Reb Yitzchak to preserve the letters until 1831, only a few letters from the earlier period of Reb Noson's life were found. After he passed away, a leading disciple, Rebbe Nachman, the Rav of Cherin, began to collect the letters. One Rosh Hashanah in Uman, he publicly announced in the synagogue that anyone possessing a letter of Reb Noson should bring it to him for the purpose of publishing them. One of Reb Noson's close followers, Reb Nachman of Tolshin, collected the letters. The Rav of Cherin then wrote the introduction and published them, together with the remaining letters. Some additional letters of Reb Noson were found after the first printings of Alim Literufa, and were appended as hashmatot in subsequent printings. A new vocalized edition of the Alim Literufa was recently published by Meshech Hanachel in Jerusalem, 1992, which incorporated all the letters in chronological order. For our translation, we have used that edition. In Breslov history, there are many stories that illustrate the potency of the letters. Reb Matityahu Barzeski from Poland, exiled to Siberia in 1939 during Stalin's purges of the Ukraine, came across a copy of the Alim Literufa. A leading Torah scholar and highly respected in his city, Reb Matityahu became enthralled with the letters, especially those of. In July of 1835, Reb Noson was imprisoned on false charges, yet, even while in jail, Reb Noson continued to study Torah, pray, and write his original discourses. When Reb Matityahu read about this, he couldn't believe how a person, suffering so much, could still find the strength and energy to bind himself so much to God while in prison. So impressed was he with Reb Noson that he felt Breslov Hasidut was for him. He subsequently traveled to Uman and became one of the leaders of the Breslover community there. One of his very close friends, and one whom he influenced greatly, was Rabbi Eliyahu Chaim Rosen, 1899 to 1984, founder and dean of the Breslov Yeshiva in Jerusalem. The Breslov Research Institute extends its heartfelt thanks to Yaakov Gabel for this incredible work. A recent addition to our staff, Yaakov has proven himself more than just a writer. His sincerity, his attention to detail, and more importantly, his devotion to Reb Noson have combined to make this a work of art. May the merit of Reb Noson be with him, to bear additional physical and spiritual fruits in good health and success, forever and ever. Our deep appreciation is also extended to Moshe Shor, long a follower of Reb Noson and his teachings, whose research and editing, working from the various printed texts of the Alim Literufa, added much dimension and accuracy to our translation. May his respect and love for Reb Noson filter down to all of us, and may Reb Noson's merit be with him and his family, always. May God grant that we partake of the fruits and leaves written by Reb Noson, and may he completely heal us by sending us Mashiach, by gathering in our exiles, and by rebuilding the Holy Temple, from where all the wonderful tastes and cures emanate, speedily in our day. Amen. Chaim Kramer, Jerusalem. The Collected Letters. Introduction. It is known what the sages taught, that the Holy One, blessed be He, said to Moses about Yehoshua, "Yehoshua has attended you and honored you very much. He came early and stayed late in your council chamber. He arranged the benches and spread out the mats. Since he served you with everything he had, he also ought to serve Israel and not lose his reward. So take Yehoshua ben Nun and fulfill the verse. The keeper of the fig tree will enjoy its fruit. One who ministers to his master will be honored." We too, here in these generations, never saw or heard about anyone who served his Rebbe the way we saw our teacher Reb Noson of blessed memory serve his. He literally fulfilled, and his attendant Yehoshua ben Nun never left the tent, that is, the tent of the Torah of our Rebbe Nachman, the light of lights, author of Likutei Moharan of sainted memory. He was truly attached and bound to the Rebbe with a bond of total devotion and complete self-nullification, down to the smallest detail of his every action, word, or thought, Whether he was sitting in his house, or walking on the way, or lying down, or getting up, all he ever talked about, all his stories, everything he did, all revolved around this one axis: to make known and publicize the greatness, holiness, and exaltedness of the Rebbe, and the greatness of his holy Torah lessons, stories, and everything about him, to tell people about his mighty deeds, and to spread forth his wellsprings of knowledge. This is the whole man. The entire world was created only to listen to this, and for this purpose alone, as the sages said. If the world were still worthy now, so many years after the Rebbe's passing, to have the benefit of his light, it would already have undergone its complete rectification, as is explained elsewhere. This man, our teacher, the Rav, Reb Noson, never rested. All his days he worked relentlessly to draw the waters of his Rebbe's Torah, to let others drink from them, and to publicize the Rebbe's great and holy name in the world. The assiduity and enormous dedication with which he engaged in this were simply unbelievable. The merit of his holy Rebbe helped him, and he was worthy of reaching an extremely high and exalted level in his own religious devotions and in understanding the Holy Torah. And it was all with perfect straightforwardness and simplicity, and with a true modesty and perfect humility that is just unimaginable. Neither written nor spoken words are capable of describing this in any detail. Reb Noson was an amazing and awesomely unique figure. He studied straightforwardly and systematically vast quantities of material: the Talmud, codes, Midrashim, the Holy Zohar, the Kabbalah, and the rest of the holy literature. So much so that anyone who saw a little of his regimen of study would consider it impossible to accomplish, unless he were to engage in it exclusively day and night. Besides this, he spent very much time in God's service, that is, in prayer. He would say his prayers with enormous energy, great enthusiasm, and with an awesome cleaving to God. He also spent much time in additional prayers and supplications, all with great sincerity and simplicity. He was accustomed to say many psalms every day. He would say them with a great stirring toward God, with weeping, with all kinds of awesome cries and screams, and with a sincerely broken heart, which is simply beyond belief. The ears of anyone who heard him used to ring. It is well known that great numbers of the Jewish people, even among the common people who weren't close to him in the least, who hardly even knew who he was when they saw him, and who were completely free of any preconceived notions, experienced a great arousal toward holiness through hearing his prayers, his recitation of psalms, his tikkun chatzo, or his other devotions. He also spent much time daily pouring out his heart before God in hitbodedat, private, secluded prayer, hours on end. As with his studies, whoever heard of his regimen of prayer would consider it impossible to accomplish, unless he were to spend all his days and nights in prayer and supplications. He would also spend much time every day developing amazing new Torah ideas based on those that he received from his Rebbe, of sainted memory. He arranged them carefully and set them down in book form, and his holy writings contained in Likutei Halachot attest to this. He also worked a great deal on the Rebbe's own books. He edited and clarified edition after edition, each one an improvement on the last. He also elucidated the holy practical advice and practices that emanated from the Rebbe's teachings in works such as Kitzur, Likutei Mocharan, and Likutei Etzot, advice. He devoted a great deal of time to this, editing and re-editing these books many times, each time in a different way, as is known to those acquainted with these works. He also spent much time composing and compiling prayers on the whole collection of the Torah lessons of our Rebbe, of blessed memory, these prayers eventually appearing in his book, the published Likutei Tefillo. Unfortunately, as is well known among our comrades, there were many sections of Likutei Tefillo which were destroyed by fire, and the world was not worthy of seeing and benefiting from at all. All this is in addition to the many long letters that he had to write every day, which gave new life to many of our comrades who, as is known, drank in his words thirstily. Anyone who heard or knew about the way he used to write would imagine it impossible were he not to spend all his days only writing these works. Beyond all this, he worked all his days to establish the holy edifice of our Rebbe of sainted memory, to print his holy books over and over again, and to found and build his holy house of study. Through all this, he worked side by side with many of our comrades who gave much important support. Nonetheless, he had to spend a tremendous amount of time on this and to travel a great deal. In addition to all this, many rose up against him. He faced, with tremendous self-sacrifice and devotion, enormous battles, until he was able to complete every one of these endeavors. Beyond this, he used to teach his Rebbe's Torah to others. He spent a lot of time in conversation with many people every day, bringing them closer to the service of God. He had to dedicate much time to this, for it is known how much time and effort is needed before one can help a single person who has free choice and bring him closer to God. He spent great amounts of time on this with many Jews and brought them closer to the service of God with the lessons, stories, and conversations that he received from his Rebbe of sainted memory. And he had to write many letters to many of our comrades in response to each one's question, guiding them on the path they should take and fortifying their hearts to always fear God. Many of his original Torah writings, which we know of and possess, have, with God's help, already been printed. These are Likete Etzot, Likete Halachat, and Likete Tefillot. With God's help, they have exerted their influence and have made a great impression in the world. They have spread out into all the scattered communities of Israel and have literally given new life to their souls. So I decided to search for his letters, which are scattered among many of our comrades, but I only found a 60th of them. Many years have gone by since his passing, and it is no longer possible to collect them. Look, though, at what I did find. Thank God. At what God, with his great providence and mercy, has bestowed upon us. He has preserved a trace, a precious remnant of these holy letters, too. After much toil, I found a large bundle of letters with his illustrious, pious, and distinguished son, Reb Yitzchak of blessed memory. Letters that he received from our teacher, Reb Noson of blessed memory. He had kept them up to that day. Heart and soul I rejoiced when I saw them, and I put them together with the letters that our other companions had saved. For we know it was his wish that his holy letters be spread forth in the world, to tell later generations too about the great and awesome thing that happened in the world, with the revelation of a little of the holiness of our holy Rebbe, of sainted memory, and particularly through the fact that our teacher, Reb Noson, drew close to him. Most important is that they will inspire great numbers of the Jewish people. With their delicacies and total sincerity, all his holy words will restore their souls. They contain amazing understanding and true wisdom. They contain fountains of salvation which flow forth from their source, the spring which flows forth, the source of wisdom, as is marvelously explained at length elsewhere. The benefits which one who looks into these letters will derive, both in his Torah and devotions, and in his worldly wisdom, are too many to enumerate. Anyone who looks at them sincerely will understand for himself. His eyes will see, and his heart will rejoice. Seeing that the large majority of these letters were written in response to ones he received from his pious son Reb Yitzchak, I thought it appropriate to mention some praises of his son too. Reb Yitzchak, of blessed memory, was straightforward, honest, and God-fearing from his youth, and throughout his life he was deeply engaged in Torah and devotion. He also involved himself a little in worldly affairs and never took anything from anyone. To the contrary, he gave to others, even beyond his means, donating much to charity and hosting many guests. He was a man of excellent and upright character. He dealt intelligently with people and was liked and respected. Late in his life, he was privileged to settle permanently in the Holy Land, in the holy city of Sefed. May it soon be rebuilt and established. Amen. There, too, he was highly honored and respected by all, and he left behind a good name. He is buried right next to the grave of the Holy Rav, the author of the Shulchan Aruch, the Bet Yosef, Rabbi Yosef Karo. His bitter mourning and lamenting about his many disturbing thoughts and the like emanated from his great genuine purity and righteousness. He was shocked, alarmed, and horrified at the slightest flaw, even just in thought, and even if it was unintentional or due to duress. For him, an unintentional wrong was tantamount to an intentional one, and a minor wrong to a major one, as our sages discuss. Given this, one who looks honestly will be amazed all the more at the great sincere purity, righteousness, holy awe, and piety of his father, Reb Noson of blessed memory. He was unwilling to treat these things lightly and to give his son some brief response like, "Why are you always so exacting, making such a big deal out of something that most people fail in every day," as our sages discussed. He was unwilling to go easy on him at all. To the contrary, he agreed with his son that one definitely should cry out bitterly over this, because a person's thoughts are something very exalted and are a matter of great significance. In fact, they are the essence of a person, and it is necessary to hold on to and guard them vigilantly with an extra measure of holiness. This is discussed extensively in the Rebbe's books. Nonetheless, he encouraged him not to be overly upset about this, and not, God forbid, to become sad or depressed over it. For one must never despair. As long as there is life in a person, he can be sure that he can still attain good and perfect true holiness, as is discussed very much in these holy letters. Fortunate is the one who holds on to them, and an intelligent person will understand their contents in the correct way. Letters from 5567. The Year in Review. In the winter of 1807, Rebbe Nachman went on a journey to Brody and Zaslov. While there, he took ill. He sent a letter to Breslov asking that his followers pray for him. When Reb Noson heard of the Rebbe's illness, he wrote a reply. The text of Rebbe Nachman's letter is found in Alam L'Terufa, Rebbe Nachman's Letters, and an English translation is presented in Until the Mashiach. Letter 1. With God's help, Thursday, 8 Nisan, 5567. Let the hills bear greetings to the teeming treasure, the Zadok, foundation of the world, our Lord, Master and Teacher, our pride and strength, our splendorous crown, and that of all Israel, to the leader of the exile of Ariel, to the great eagle, the master of wings, in whose shadow we find refuge. He has revived us twice, and a third time he will set us on our feet, and we will live before him. May he live on forever, until the heavens fade. To the towering genius, to the holy lamp, the true chassid, who does right by his Creator, and who gives life to the living. His truest praise is silence, for one cannot begin fittingly to praise him. If all the seas were ink, they would not suffice. Fortunate are we, happy is our lot, that we were privileged to share in his lot. My lots have fallen in pleasant places. I have received a beautiful inheritance. How sweet is the light, and pleasant to look at. Happy are we. Happy is the eye that has seen all this, the hidden light from the 7 days of creation. All this has come from God, from heaven, to his honored and holy name, the sublimely exalted, our teacher and master, the Rav, Rebbe Nachman. May the merciful one bless him and keep him. And may it be said in Sulzak, let him live forever. Having received my greetings, our master, teacher, and Rebbe should know that I have seen a copy of the letter that you sent to my companions. May their lights shine, since the honored Reb Naftali sent me a copy to Mochilev. I stood there trembling and shocked as I looked at it. Throes took hold of me, birth pangs seized me. Our beloved master, teacher, and Rebbe. Beloved above, friend to all Israel, and friend to our souls. What shall we say? What shall we seek? Should I venture to console our master, teacher, and Rebbe? Should I address words of solace to his holy person? Who would dare? Who would gird his loins to take upon himself such a task? Heavens above, how can I proceed? Ways of God hidden from the sight of the living. Who can find the words? Nonetheless, come what may, I will address our master, teacher, and Rebbe, and I will trust in your kindness and true humility, as I open my mouth to speak the words that God gives me. Surely you have not forgotten, my master, all the trials you have endured until now, and how God has enabled you to break, crush, and vanquish so much, to demolish all that you have demolished, to build all that you have built, and then to rise to the place that you have, and all in complete concealment, for no eye has seen it, as was especially the case when you, our master, teacher, and Rebbe, went through what you did in Istanbul. See Rabbi Nachman's Wisdom, the Pilgrimage, until you merit to accomplish what God always helps you. In the midst of what you are suffering right now, though, you imagine that you have never endured the like. For I have heard from your own holy mouth that this is often what happens when someone goes through a difficult time. Even if it is true that you have never suffered like this, then, on the contrary, I am certain that you can rely on God, that we will soon once again be worthy of seeing you happy, and you will have what you long for, to be able to see the goodness of God as He shows you His splendorous kindness. The verse is said about this, "Do I recline to give birth and then not bear?" It is not necessary to elaborate. Even what little I have said with the greatest trepidation. Your humility, I trust, has permitted me to write this much. We are fulfilling your request to pray for you. May God have mercy on us and on all of Israel, and stir our hearts, so that we are able to pray in a way that befits a matter such as this. For if we felt even a fraction of what we ought to, we would run screaming through the marketplaces and through the streets, calling for divine pity on you, and on us as well, and on all of God's creatures, on all the souls which are dwelling in the place they have descended to and are waiting, longing to take refuge under your wings, not yet having found the shelter of your holy shadow. Who could be more pitiable than us, as our master, teacher, and Rebbe is aware? Me in particular, whom you lifted up from lower than the dust. You took me destitute from the dung heaps and sat me down among princes. Yet even now I am naked and unclothed. Who knows if I've even reached the level of a suckling babe? And there is no one from whom we can nurse and draw illumination, no one from whom we can receive our lifeblood, except our master, teacher, and Rebbe. For you are our life and the length of our days. God, you alone know, if ever, from the time of the creation of the universe, there has been such mercy as that which there is on us, and on each one of us individually, because each one of us knows his own heart's wounds. How much more does this apply to one who never in his life saw good? I do not need to say any more. Now we must speak, we must pour out our hearts like water before God. For we have trusted Him, and we will never be ashamed. As He has afflicted us, so will He have us rejoice, and look upon the pleasantness of His splendor. We will feast our souls on His brilliance. In abundant joy we will welcome your holiness, the reflection of the Ancient of Days, the light of the living face of our King, the King of all Israel. It is time for the afternoon prayers. I must close. The words of the one who longingly waits to roll in the dust of your feet and to bask in your holy brilliance. The insignificant Noson, son of my master and father, Reb Naftali Hertz, may his light shine. Letters from 5582. The year in review. In the spring of 1822, Reb Noson left on his pilgrimage to the Holy Land. He arrived in Odessa after Purim and sailed shortly after Pesach. The details of his pilgrimage are found in Yemei Moharnat, Part 2, and in Through Fire and Water, Part 5, The Pilgrimage. Letter 2. With God's help, Wednesday 26, Nisan Shemini, 5582, Odessa. To my modest wife. I am writing to inform you that I have hired a boat today and, God willing, this Friday, Erev Shabbat. I will embark on a ship sailing for Istanbul. From there, with God's help, I will continue my journey until God brings me safely to Eretz Yisrael. I therefore request that you pray to God for me, and that you ask all the members of our group to do the same, especially those in Uman. Further, I have nothing to write. Just life and good health. My dear son Shachnei, may his light shine. Take the enclosed letter and send it directly on the first post to Cherin, to Reb Berot Kopchik. You should also write a letter yourself, asking them to do as I've requested, and send the money without delay. Tell them about the seriousness of your situation, and how, except for the money which they owe, I left you with absolutely nothing. With God's help, they will certainly fulfill their promise and do as I've asked. Be advised that I received your letter on Shol Hamoed Pesach, and I was delighted. I was also very pleased by its style, because I thought you had developed a fine style only well enough to deal with simple subjects. But now, thank God, I see that you really write quite nicely. You should get in the habit of writing letters from time to time in order to cultivate a lucid style. You will find it very useful in a number of areas. I was also very happy to receive the commentary you wrote on the story. I am delighted that someone has taken it upon himself to write such a commentary on the stories. The interpretation itself is nice, and many of its points are nearly correct, though it is still very far from even the faint glimmer of understanding that I have of this story. How many thousands and thousands of times more distant is it from the actual intention of our holy, awesome Rebbe? The main hesitation I have with the commentary is the following. While according to your interpretation the end of the story talks about the giving of the Torah, and how in the end Moses was able to find the lost princess, I don't agree. It seems to me that the story is not yet finished, and that the actual conclusion, finding the lost princess, will only be in the future, when our righteous Mashiach comes. For he himself is Moses, and he is reborn to the world in each generation, as we learn in the Tikkunei Zohar. All this is in order to seek the lost princess until he is worthy of finding her in the time of our righteous Mashiach. May he come speedily in our time. The lost princess represents holy faith, belief in God, the true tzaddikim and the Torah. This holy faith is in exile in every generation, and the redemption depends essentially upon the degree to which the Jewish people in each generation succeed in elevating this fallen faith and in building it up until they believe fully and with complete sincerity. For, through this, Mashiach will come, as it is written, "Come and look from the heights of faith." At that time the truth of this belief will be evident, and every creature will know that it is you who made him. Only then will the lost princess, i.e. belief, return to her rightful place, to her throne. Even though the Rebbe tells the story in the past, and concludes by saying, quote, "And in the end he found her," it really alludes to the future, so that even if we are able to ascertain the allusions in the story correctly, we can still not possibly understand its essence, the who, the what, and the when. These stories are dealing with the loftiest of subjects, and I do not intend to elaborate on paper regarding things which the Ancient of Days has hidden. Certainly not in a letter. May God open our eyes and allow us to comprehend some of the allusions in the Rebbe's stories. Nonetheless, I am very pleased with the commentary you sent me. It is truth too. The words of the Rebbe are like a stone struck by a hammer. They split apart and break up into countless interpretations. May God allow us to spend our lives dwelling upon the Rebbe's Torah, conversations and stories, until we find in them interpretations and ideas which will truly influence our deeds. Happy are we to have heard such words. Fortunate are you that you could be with us. Fortify yourself and be strong. Most important, always be happy and spend a lot of time in Hitbodedut. Do not be sad, because rejoicing in God is your strength. May you attain peace, joy, and happiness as you desire, and as the desire of your Father, who seeks your well-being always with a mighty love, and who longs to see you in life and peace. The insignificant Noson, son of Reb Naftali Hertz, may his light shine. Greetings to all our friends with great, true love. My dear brothers and friends, my masters, students, and comrades, I implore you to pray for me always. As for Reb Yitzchak Isaac Yosef's request that I send the text of a prayer for seafarers, my mind is not at all clear right now, and I cannot possibly compose one. There is already in the prayer book Shah, Arei Tzion, a prayer for seafarers by the Ramban. You merely need to make a few adjustments when you are praying for someone else. These will be obvious when you see the prayer. Whatever additions each one of you may want to make from his own heart can be in the vernacular. More than this, I cannot write now. Peace, life, and everything good, strengthen and fortify your hearts, all you who hope in God. My dear son, Reb Yitzchak, may he live. What pleasure I had from the greetings you sent me. May you always truly feel this way. For God's sake, apply yourself to your studies, for it is your life and your length of days. You must also practice your writing every day, because your style is still not at all accomplished. It is like a child's. Composition is a basic element in Torah, in serving God and in social interaction. Therefore, you must try to develop a pleasant and lucid style. It is especially important for you and for the other members of our group who, as you know, employ writing a great deal in our work to benefit the community. I do not have time to continue now. The words of your Father who desires your true eternal good and success. Letters from 5,583. The year in review. Reb Noson returned from his pilgrimage to the Holy Land in November of 1822. The same year, his son, Reb Yitzchak, was married and moved to Cherkasy, some 200 miles east of Breslov. Letter 3. With God's help. To my honored and distinguished friend, Reb Naftali, may his light shine. I have heard the latest report, that you are having trouble with your eyes, and I will be sure to pray for you. Learn from this how important it is to stay away from doctors. I have already prepared your prescription, and these are its basic ingredients. 1. No medical treatments. 2. No medical treatments. 3. No medical treatments, and be sure to go to the mikveh. May God have mercy on you and send you a full and speedy recovery from heaven. I have yet to receive any letter from my son Yitzchak, may he live, and I wait expectantly to hear good tidings from him. Besides this, I've no news. I have some further news for you. You should know that there is indeed a God controlling the world, in the heavens above and on the earth below. He lives and endures forever. May his name be eternally praised. Material gain is absolutely worthless, even though most of the world are denizens of the land of wealth, who mock words such as mine. They do have the freedom to choose, as they have, to take on the yoke of Gehenna in this world, besides what they will face on Judgment Day. In the end, they will return to us, and we will not return to them. King David has already said, "Do not fear if a man gains riches, for when he dies, he will take nothing. His status will not go down with him. If they mock this, they will eat their words. One who relies on one's wealth is leaning on a broken staff. They rely on chariots and horses. But we will call in the name of our God. For there is no refuge from the afflictions of this world, from the troubles which fill each and every home, except for God and the Torah." I have discussed this extensively in the past, but it must be repeated daily. Man was born to suffer. Happy is he who suffers for the Torah. As for what you wrote, that no matter what, we must only hope. True it is, and right, and firm, and steady, and enduring. Fortunate are you if you really fulfill this. With thanks to God, Tuesday, Vayishev, 5,583, Breslov. Greetings to my honored and dear friend, beloved of my heart and soul, the scholarly, eminent and distinguished Reb Naftali, may his light shine, and to all our comrades, peace and salvation. Know, my friends, that thank God I returned home safely last Thursday, Torah reading Vayishlach. Thus far has God's great mercy helped me. I do not have time right now to describe all that I went through, but there will be time, God willing. But I am very distressed to hear about the pain in your eyes. I am even more amazed that you have agreed to visit those worthless doctors and to submit to medical treatments in Hessen, when they have already caused you so much distress and made your eyes even worse than they were before. Don't you remember the Rebbe's holy words instructing us in the strongest terms to avoid medical cures? You have probably told yourself that when he said this, he wasn't talking about eye ailments. The fact is, though, my dear brother, that you are wrong. There appears to have been a great deal more material here, but this is all I found. Woe for what is lost. This is evidently the letter in which Reb Noson announced his return from Eretz Yisrael. I am stating this here to provide a clear record of the year of his journey. With God's help, it will prove useful. There is reason to assume that the previous letter and this one are part of the same letter. The previous letter ends with Noson the same, without any previous signature. This letter indicates that text is missing. We can assume that, since they both talk about Reb Naftali's eye illness, they were either part of the same letter or were written at about the same time. Letters from 5584. The Year in Review. In 5580, Reb Noson established a printing press in his house. The press was kept secret, as the Russian authorities had strict censorship laws even then. His intention was to facilitate the printing of Rebbe Nachman's writings, and even some of his own original works. In the main, the Likutei Tefillah, the collected prayers of Reb Noson. The Likutei Tefillah is a compilation of prayers based upon the teachings of the Rebbe and Likutei Moharan, and are deeply moving, heartfelt prayers covering all aspects of life, spiritual, physical, and emotional. Just after Purim, someone informed the authorities of the press. It was closed, the room sealed, and Reb Noson was in grave danger. In the summer of 1824, Reb Noson was released from any liability of operating an illegal press. Letter 5. With thanks to God, Friday, Tishrei, 5584, Breslov to Cherkasy. Greetings to my dear, honored son, my beloved friend Reb Yitzchak, may his light shine. Thanks to God, I arrived home safely Tuesday evening, and thank God everything is as it should be. Please, my son, look carefully at what your purpose is. Strengthen yourself in God's Torah, and apply yourself diligently to your studies. Set a time every day to seclude yourself with God in Hitbodedot. Express yourself before Him. Beg Him and plead with Him to bring you to truly serve Him. Study the Rebbe's books until you know them by heart, and remember what I've taught you in my house. If you apply what you have heard, you will be able to hear more, and you will be able to hear from me many more words of advice and encouragement which rejuvenate many souls. Then you will attain good in this world and the next. There is no time like the present to study Torah and to pray, for youth is a wreath of roses, and if not now, when? Our days are like a passing shadow, and time rushes by. Nothing but the Torah, prayer, and good deeds that you manage to grab each day will remain with you. Everything else is passing. I will not go on. I have already told you this, and more than this. And besides, it's all explained clearly in the Rebbe's books. Study them over and over, and never leave them. The most important thing is that you look at them every day as if they were completely new. Constantly make a fresh start. Don't let anything discourage you, God forbid. View yourself as literally created anew at each and every moment. If you do this, you will gain success and wisdom. The words of your father, Noson, the son of Reb Naftali Hertz of Breslov, may his light shine. Letters from 5584. With God's help, Monday, Chaya Sarah, 5584, Breslov. Peace, blessing, life, and all good to my honored son Reb Yitzchak, may he live long. I received 2 beautiful letters from you. The first came on Simchat Torah, when we were rejoicing in the joy that knows no limit, the joy of being a Jew, for we are His chosen nation. He has given us His precious Torah and has brought us into His service. It was in the middle of our rejoicing that I received your letter. How happy I was to see it. How happy your words made me. In the second letter in particular, which arrived last week, you told me what I so longed to hear, that with God's help, the Lord's perfect Torah is with you. Please, my son, whom I love as myself, summon everything you have and apply yourself tirelessly to your studies. It is your portion in life. How good it is when a person takes on the yoke in his youth. Really work to concentrate when you pray. Focus your thoughts on each and every word of the prayer and think about it when you say it. Constantly grip your thoughts and don't let them wander as you have in the past. Leave your old ways behind, my son. Be careful and be strong. Muster all the strength and intelligence you have and abandon these ways. Just hold on to your thoughts and think about nothing else. Because a person has control over what he thinks and can turn his thoughts in any direction he wants. It is impossible to think 2 thoughts at once, as is explained clearly in the Rebbe's books. Excessive contemplation is one of the things which prevent a person from returning to God. Beyond what I have written here, make absolutely certain that you study the Rebbe's books very, very closely, because they contain advice and strategies that will rescue you from this foreign thoughts. The main thing is what I said above, that you must know and believe that, as the Rebbe said, a person can direct his thoughts wherever he wishes. And if, God forbid, they do sometimes wander, you can simply grab them and pull them back where they belong. It is explained in the Rebbe's holy books that, just as when a horse strays from the path, you grab it by the halter and pull it back to the straight path, so can you do exactly the same with your thoughts. This applies particularly during prayer, when distracting thoughts are at their strongest. Because all the thoughts which periodically arise to distract a person during the day return to him just at the time he is praying, as is explained in Likutei Moharan Lesson 30. You must constantly fortify yourself against these extraneous thoughts during prayer, and the key to defeating them is simply to sit and do nothing. Do not pay them the slightest attention. Neither address them nor look at them at all. Just think about the words of the prayer coming out of your mouth, and the other thoughts will vanish. Furthermore, be sure to select the time every day to express yourself before your Creator, as we have discussed so often in the Rebbe's name. This universal practice allows every Jew to claim his share in the inherent holiness of his people. It is impossible to explain any more about this in writing. Thousands of pages would not be enough. Just attend closely to what is written in the Rebbe's books, and you will find an inner peace which will stay with you forever. I do not approve, my beloved son, of your having, as you told me, 2 separate sessions in your study of the codes, Orach Chaim, the laws of Shabbat, and your Adiyah, the laws of salting meat. You should know by now that I do not like this way of focusing on 2 such dissimilar subjects at the same time. What does salting have to do with Shabbat? You know that I always want books studied in order. Study Orach Chaim from beginning to end, and then, with God's help, begin your Adiyah. Start with the laws of slaughtering, and go right through, in order, till the end. Do the same with Choshen Mishpat and even Chayezer. Many young people make the mistake of dabbling. First they study milk and meat, and then litigation. All of a sudden they jump to the laws of family purity. In the end, they become bald on this side and that, and they know nothing about any of them. And even when they are grown, they don't know a single law in even one area, and all their work was for nothing. I want you to study the laws of Shabbat, along with Tractate Shabbat, as you said you were. Make sure that you understand what you learn very well. Don't delude yourself. And don't become bogged down with the minutest details, as we've discussed in the past. If you can't convince your study partner to change, still, don't split from him over this, but study salting as well, as he wishes. If you succeed in convincing him to study sequentially, then it is very good. I am sure he will be grateful to me, with God's help. Always try to be happy. How delighted I was to read that you are happy. May it always be so, my son. May you always be full of joy. Look carefully at the beginning of the letter, where I talked about Simchat Torah. I purposely dwelled on it because we should always remember the joy of being a Jew. We should always feel infinite joy over this. We have merited to be from the seed of Israel, and God gave us His Torah and the Holy Commandments. Happy are we. How good is our portion. The words of your Father, who is waiting longingly and hoping to see your true and eternal happiness and success. Grow wise, my son, rejoice my heart, that I may not fear to answer him who insults me. The insignificant Noson, son of Reb Naftali Hertz, may his light shine, of Breslov. With God's help, Monday, Vayishlach, 5584, Breslov. Greetings to my son Reb Yitzchak, may his light shine. I was very glad to receive your letter yesterday, but I was rather irritated, my dear son, at your complaining that I do not write more often. You know that I'm not a man with spare time. I am extremely busy with all kinds of matters. This is particularly true now that, with God's help, we have started printing the prayers, the Likutei Tefillot. I think I already told you that I sent Reb Mendel to Minkovitz. Thank God he returned safely last week and brought the missing letter plates. We should begin printing, with God's help, in the next day or so. So you can imagine how preoccupied I am with this, on many accounts, not least of which is the lack of funds. Salvation is in God's hands. Given all this, you should know that I do not intend to write every 2 weeks like you do. I will make sure, though, with God's help, to write you once a month. I warn you, from now on, stop waiting every day to receive a letter from me and then being needlessly disappointed, God forbid. This is the work of the evil one too, trying to distract you from your prayers and studies. It too often happens that young people become involved with this kind of dreaming and ruminating, and it has a very detrimental effect on their devotions. You wrote that you have nothing to encourage you but my letters. While it is fitting that you should value my letters and find them inspiring, you should be able, with God's help, to encourage yourself for a long time with each letter, especially since you have all the Rebbe's books too, which are overflowing with awe of heaven and the most amazing revelations of godliness. The Rebbe's books are for everyone, great and small, young and old. Study them over and over, grow old and gray with them, for there is nothing better. You also have some of my own novellae, with God's help. You also have heard, with God's help, many of the Holy Rebbe's conversations from me and from many of our comrades. These are more precious than gold. So take heart and always be happy. Cling to my advice and don't weaken. Devote yourself tirelessly to your studies and concentrate hard when you pray. Become accustomed to seclude yourself daily with God, as I've instructed you. I cannot continue right now because I'm very busy. Peace and goodbye. The words of your father, with best wishes and love. The insignificant Noson, son of my master and father, Naphtali Hertz, may his light shine. With thanks to God. Friday, Vaigash 5584, Breslov. Let the mountains bear greetings to my dear, honored son, Reb Yitzchak, may his light shine. Letters from 5584. I received 2 letters from you, and I rejoiced at your words as one who finds great treasure. How happy I was that you spoke words of truth. How you uplifted me, writing that you are busy in Torah, prayer, and with the Rebbe's books. And you are happy. This is what I long to hear. May you learn to fear God all the days of your life. May you constantly grow in holiness, purity, and renewed dedication to the service of God each day. All else is vain and passing, for our days on earth are like a passing shadow. The day is short and there is much work. If not now, when? Be strong, my son, and, with everything you have, try to walk the straight path and the path of truth, the path that our great and holy Rebbe showed us. It is your life and length of days for all eternity. I cannot express any more in writing. Go and look for yourself. You will find in the Rebbe's books all the advice and suggestions you are looking for to help you serve God. Study them over and over and never leave them. There is nothing better. Cf. Avot 525. We have already finished printing, my dear son, 5 folios of the prayers with God's help. We are now working on a 6th. May God let us complete it. Everyone is very busy with the work, but we are printing, without workers. There are just Reb Mendel, Reb Chaim Nochem, the young Yitzchak Yehoshua. Also my son, Reb Shachnei, may his light shine, helps a great deal but only intermittent. So the work is proceeding very slowly. May God help us finish quickly. Plus, as you know, there are many constraints due to lack of money. Please, urge our comrades in your community to send generous contributions at once. Let them not delay at all, because as you know, we cannot delay the printing, God forbid, even one day. I am sending to you, with love, a sample page of the prayers. See and rejoice. I do not have time to write anymore. The words of your father, who is constantly waiting for good news from you, and, most importantly, the true and eternal good. The insignificant Noson, son of Reb Naphtali Hertz, may his light shine. With thanks to God, Thursday Torah reading Bo 5584. I received your letter, my dear son, and I was pleased and encouraged. I rejoiced at your words as one who finds great treasure. Until now, though, I had no time to respond. First thing Sunday morning, Vayera, I traveled to Uman for Erev Rosh Chodesh Shevat. But because of bad road conditions, I didn't get back until Sunday of this week. When I returned home, I found that the ink had run out and the printing had stopped. Now we have to buy linseed oil and cook it. At this time of year, though, it can only be purchased at a very high price. In addition to the fact that we don't have the money, in this area the oil isn't even available. So Reb Mendel has had to travel back home to buy the holy oil there. Next week, God willing, we will resume the printing. With God's help, we've already completed through Prayer 55. Thanks to God who has helped us thus far. May He help us finish well. May He complete the work for us. There are a great many problems, primarily due to lack of funds. Please speak to Reb Mendel, Reb Yeshaya, and the others, and ask them to send whatever they can. Whatever they can send will give life to many Jewish souls, and they will be benefiting the community for generations to come. The sooner the better. Time is short, and it is impossible to hold up the printing even for one day. For God's sake, urge them to hurry however you can. I have read your letter carefully, and I can glean from what you say that you are entertaining the foolish thoughts that often take hold of young people, which the evil one sends to distract them with downheartedness and needless depression. Nothing does more harm than depression. I am surprised at you, my beloved son, apple of my eye, that you are paying this any attention at all. After everything I've told you, and with all that is written in the Rebbe's books, you really ought to know this. Sadness, depression, and all such misgivings and doubts are highly damaging, and they cause more harm, God forbid, than all the wrongdoing in the world. Listen to me, my dear son, because these are the words of our holy and awesome Rebbe. Fortify yourself again and again, and begin anew every day. Do not dwell on any doubts or depression. Pay them no attention at all. Do not yield. Always be joyful that you are from the seed of Israel, and that you are not one of the people, God forbid, who oppose the light of lights, the luminary of luminaries, the elder of elders, our holy and awesome Rebbe, the brook which flows forth, the source of wisdom. Fortunate are we, how good is our lot, that God in His mercy has lifted from us the obscuring blindness which darkens the eyes and prevents so many people from looking into the Rebbe's awesome books. They end up opposing him, his followers, and his holy, incredible books. Thank God, who has saved us from this, and who has set us apart from the people who fall into all kinds of mistakes. We should be happy about this our whole lives, with a great, infinite joy that no sadness or depression can spoil. I heard explicitly from the Rebbe's holy mouth that joy is the key to renewing determination. As the verse says, "Joy in the Lord is your fortress." It is impossible to explain any more on paper, but if you study the Rebbe's books, you will be able to quench your thirst and always be happy. And this is the most important thing of all. Your practice of studying, as you wrote me, one of the Rebbe's lessons, and afterwards saying the corresponding prayer is an excellent one. Only I wanted you also to get in the habit of speaking your own words, in Yiddish, between you and your Creator. Make prayers from the lessons, and express yourself before God. First, do one lesson, and then, after a time, go on to the next. The Rebbe exhorted us repeatedly to make this a regular practice, as you have heard me mention many times. I will not go on. Greetings, life, joy, and all the good that we both desire for you. From your Father, the one who longingly awaits and hopes for your true salvation, in fulfillment of the verse. Grow wise, my son, rejoice my heart, that I may not fear to answer him who insults me. The insignificant Noson, son of Reb Naftali Hertz, may his light shine. With God's help, Monday, Teruma, 5584, Breslov. Let the mountains hear greetings to my dear, honored, and beloved son, Reb Yitzhak. May his light shine. I wrote you a week ago last Friday, Yitro, to tell you that I have heard what has happened to you and that you should come here right away. In the meantime, my beloved son, apple of my eye, try your best not to take this to heart. Put all worries and sadness out of your mind. Strengthen yourself in God. Trust him and he will save you, because we have nothing but his great loving kindness to depend on. You are already aware, I suppose, that this world is full of suffering, and that this life is nothing but grief and pain. There is nowhere to flee except to God and his Torah, which gives happiness and renews life. I will not go on about this here. It is all in God's hands. Thank God, my son, we are printing, and thanks to his great help, we have finished 62 prayers. May God finish the work for us, and may we print all the prayers in accordance with his will and the will of the Rebbe. I don't have time to continue now. The words of your father, hoping to see you soon. From the insignificant Noson, son of Reb Naftali Hertz, may his light shine. Letters from 5585. The year in review. Early in 5585, October 1824, Reb Noson received preliminary approval to operate his press, which, though paid for, never materialized. See Through Fire and Water, chapter number 31, page 321, FF. In this year, Reb Noson's son, Reb Yitzchak, had marital problems and a divorce ensued. What can I say about the distress and bitterness of the world? The reports from those towns are impossible to convey in writing. Evil and bitterness that cut to the quick. Everyone is just overwhelmed by the suffering, and no one knows what to do. And not a single one of us will adopt the craft of his ancestors and scream out to God. Because of our many sins, we are so overwhelmed, God forbid, that we cannot even cry out to him. May God in his great mercy have pity on us and send us wisdom and joy and bring us back to him in complete repentance. May we all soon see the coming of our Redeemer. Amen. May it be his will, with God's help, life and blessing, as I wish, true and awesome, prosper for him and his seed for generations. All these years I have never seen, I have not heard from you recently. I have thought about writing you several times to tell in a letter a little bit of what was in my heart, but it was to no avail, because time was short. But my love for you is so great that I could no longer keep from writing this letter to ask you to let me know how you are doing from time to time. I sense that, despite all your troubles, it is not all bad, God forbid, but that, with all your suffering, in his amazing kindness and awesome ability to save, God has sent you some relief. When I was with you, I saw and understood this a little, and even now I hear it as well. I also hear reports which indicate that some salvation may be sprouting for you, and that you may be planning to travel to Petersburg in the near future. May God soon give you success. God knows how much I have felt for you in your straits, and how many times I have prayed for you, especially in Uman at the Rebbe's holy burial place. I am truly pained by all your troubles, and by the difficult times you've had. You and I are brothers, because both of us are followers of our awesome Rebbe. I tried to stake a claim for you on the merit of your generous gift, setting up of the printing in order to do today. So many. Thank God, his mercy has helped us thus far. The earth, the letters, if you should wish to donate more, many times more, everything that is in your heart, to express in a letter. But you should know, my beloved friend, dear to me as my own soul, just as I desire and long, to God that he will help you, sending you salvation quickly, and that he will now fulfill all that you request. By the same token, I desire, long, pine and hope to God more and more, that when God does grant you success, you will be able to recognize where the credit for your success and salvation lies, and you will wholeheartedly and sincerely declare, I shall return to my first husband. For I was better off then than I am now. I needn't say any more. The fact of the matter is that your soul is and always has been bound up with mine. Just as I have never abandoned my first husband, neither have you. You have, though, made some mistakes and acted a little irresponsibly, which caused a bit of a Shilul Hashem, desecration of God's name. You may have given us all a bit of a bad name. It looked as though you had lost all sense of priority and balance, God forbid, and were making the essential secondary and the secondary essential. This caused some unpleasant talk among the members of our group who take these matters quite seriously. But if I know where your heart really lies, a mighty bond of love ties you to the crown of our ancestors, but you have made a great many foolish mistakes. Even now it pains me, and I cannot hold back from admonishing you directly. You have erred so much in these years because you did not make the effort to get to Uman to pray at the Rebbe's holy burial place, which is your lot amidst all your troubles, especially after you traveled home during the summer, and on the way back you could have easily passed through Uman. But I imagine this way tremendous barriers, that anything which relates to strengthening his departure from the world, countless, always arise, measure. The truth is, however, that there are really no barriers at all, and the impediments are merely there to increase one's desire. The enormity of the barriers are, as you know, a sure indication of the importance of the goal. There is much to say on this subject. Thousands of pages would not be enough even to begin to explain it. On those rare occasions when we were together, you were so harried and preoccupied that I could not speak to you candidly. Nonetheless, for an intelligent, charitable, and kind person like you, what I have written here will suffice. The important thing now is that you correct the things I alluded to in this letter. Make sure to get to Uman at least once a year without fail. Rain, snow, absolutely nothing should get in your way. And make a point of coming to see me once in a while. If you can make it for Rosh Hashanah when we are all together, so much the better, but any time you are in Uman, you will meet many members of our group. You might also invite me sometime to visit for a few days. Maybe we can speak heart to heart and illuminate each other's good points. Maybe we can receive from each other, rouse each other, and remind ourselves of what we are meant to be doing in this world, where we come from, and where we are going. Maybe we can appreciate the incredible thing God has done for us by bringing us near to the point of truth, to that pure, clear light, that luminary of luminaries. I beg you, my dear friend, listen to what I am saying. I am talking to you honestly and sincerely for your own benefit and for the good of your offspring, who will come after you, the eminent, and may they follow in your footsteps. God. Words of truth and right from them in this world and the next, and even more than this. I am forced to stop right here, is all explained clearly in the Rebbe's holy books. Study them closely. Read them over and over and never leave them. There is nothing better. Please, my dear friend, write me a letter immediately and tell me everything. If you can send me some kind of contribution, that would be excellent, because things are extremely tight. I know, though, that you cannot contribute as you once could. Still, you ought to give as much as you can afford, and perhaps even more. You should not be stingy, because this is something with eternal value. It is especially appropriate now, since you have to travel. In a situation such as this, one must often pay many bribes. So as long as you are bribing, why not also give charity to our comrades? For charity is called bribery, as the verse says. A bribe given prudently pacifies anger. Such bribery will give you success in this world and the next. I do not need to say any more to a generous person such as you. The words of your true friend forever, who lovingly seeks your well-being always, and desires your success in this world and the next. The insignificant Noson, son of Reb Naftali Hertz, may his mention be a blessing of Breslov. To his eminent son, Reb Shlomo, may his light shine once again, for to him too, who desires the purest truth, and may God, and grant him success in all his endeavors. The words of your eternal friend, Noson, the same. Our comrades all send loving and hearty greetings, and are all waiting for good news from you. Amen. The righteous Adil, may she live, along with her wise son, may he live, and her bright daughter, may she live, with God's help, are all alive and in good health. They send warm greetings. You should also know that with God's help we are on the verge of salvation with regards the printing house. By His loving kindness and miracles, God has helped us, and they have already allowed me to open it. So far it is only the building, but as far as I'm concerned, even that is very good. The press itself is still down, but I've already received a letter from Vilna indicating that the license is forthcoming. May God finish for me and have the license arrive soon for good. May the press open, and may we be worthy of spreading the Rebbe's teachings to glorify and sanctify God's blessed name in the world. Amen. May it be His will. Give the one gold piece to the carrier. May the Master of salvation bring redemption soon. The 2 four-cornered garments are what Reb David was able to find, but he doesn't want to go home until after Shabbat. He said he would send them to him as soon as possible. We were amazed that he was willing to pay so much, but without it, he can't do anything until our friend arrives. Reb Yisrael, may his light shine, asks, and I urge you as well, to keep a constant lookout for merchants who sell them. Perhaps you will be able to get them for less. Just be sure they are secure. In any case, no deal can be closed until our friend arrives. David just came and told me that he has delivered the 2 garments to the carrier of this letter. Things are very pressured. I cannot continue. May God give you joy. With God's help, Friday, Erev Shabbat, Torah reading Vayigash 5585. Greetings to my beloved son, apple of my eye, Reb Yitzchak. May his light shine. I was delighted to receive your letter, but I am still waiting for salvation. When will I hear that you are truly well and completely free from sorrow and worry? It is in God's hands. I caution you now with the utmost seriousness. Neither think about nor worry about this at all. This kind of brooding and worrying is extremely harmful. God save us. Just throw everything onto God, and He will see that it turns out for the best. I trust Him that this whole matter is already taken care of, and all your brooding is nothing but unnecessary dejection and anxiety. Depression is always harmful, but in a matter like this, it is especially so. Depression, worry, and anxiety are so damaging. God save us. There is already plenty of sorrow. Why get upset about it before and after? 2, God forbid. This is much worse than what you are so anxious and preoccupied about, God forbid. What happens to you may be beyond your control, but your thoughts and worries are not, and entertaining destructive thoughts and fantasies is a terribly serious matter, as is explained in all of the literature, and particularly in a number of places in the Rebbe's books. I already pointed out in the previous letter that, with God's help, you have quite a number of things to fill your day, particularly the Torah with the commentary of Rashi and the Rebbe's books. Then there are the daily prayers and sessions for reading Psalms, as well as the prayers and supplications that I have written. You also have hit Bodai, your daily session of conversation between you and your Creator, in which you express all your thoughts and concerns before Him and talk over with Him what is going on in your life. You also have the book you are working on, and you need to spend some time on mundane matters too, such as sleeping, eating, and drinking. You should also spend some time conversing with others, as this will make your mind more nimble. The day is short, and there is much work to do. You do not have to finish it, but you are not free to sit idle either. And you are certainly not free to waste even a minute of it, God forbid, on worthless ruminations like these, or on anything like them. God save us. Be strong and don't weaken. Make yourself happy any way you can. As I've often told you, trust God. He will not abandon you. God's mercy is upon you constantly, for He is very great. He is full of mercy, and all the world is full of mercy. As is written in Likutei Moharan, you asked me to write you another letter like the first one. Believe me, my dear son, I don't remember myself what was in it. I only write down the thoughts that God sends me as I am composing the letter. Whatever you need, though, you will find in the Rebbe's books and in the prayers and interpretations which God has allowed me to compose. They will teach you and encourage you to constantly have joy in God. and to rely on his great and inexhaustible loving kindness. In the end, everything will turn into good. The general rule is that God is very great and we know nothing at all of the wondrous new things that are happening in the world. Every day and every moment, wonders upon wonders. How great are your works, Hashem? Because God renews the world continually and everything can change for the good. If you can't see this and understand this, at least believe in it. Strengthen yourself again and again. You know a little of this, and the rest you should believe with perfect faith. It is a tremendous merit and salvation for us for eternity that we were worthy to be counted among the followers of our great and awesome Rebbe. No mind in this world can grasp it. Blessed is God, who separated us from those who err, who fight against a source of truth such as this, who speak falsehood about the tzaddik with arrogance and scorn. This is our consolation in our travails. This is our joy. With this, you can make yourself joyful in any situation. He already promised before he passed away that he is preceding us, and we don't have to worry. Lucky are we that we were worthy of hearing these words the night before his awesome passing. More than this, I have no time to write now. From now on, be very careful to guard my letters well in the future, because they are forbidden to strangers who turn words of truth into mockery. May God gladden your soul always and strengthen your heart to work on Torah and prayer all day. You should be worthy to follow the path the Rebbe taught us. Especially strengthen yourself in Hitbodedut. Force yourself and renew your resolve each day to begin to speak to God as a person speaks to his friend, and say all that you have to say before him clearly. Do not become depressed by anything in this world. You must realize that all truly God-fearing and upright people who have come genuinely to serve God have experienced exactly what you are going through and more. Had they not tenaciously held on at every turn, God forbid, they would never have moved forward at all. God forbid. All this is explained in Likutei Moharan. Study carefully everything that's written there and examine every statement closely. For these are the words of the living God, and they can give you enormous encouragement. Some of our comrades have dubbed these paragraphs the letter, because they address the reader as a letter to a friend or a student would. There is no better letter than this. Still, I will be sure to write you now and then whatever words of truth God sends me. And all that passes under the staff will be holy, because the source of all I write is the Rebbe, the brook which flows forth, the source of wisdom. Know, my son, that the verse, "Draw water in joy from the well springs of salvation," refers to the words of the Rebbe. They are really well springs of salvation, literally like a well which never runs dry. So too the Rebbe's words are living and enduring, lovely and trustworthy forever and ever and ever. His guidance and life-saving advice will never run out. No matter what happens, you can always draw strength from his awesome words, because they show us our blessed Creator's greatness and his abundant loving kindness and mercy, which is the world's salvation. Wherever we are, our hearts will rejoice in him. May we always be happy over him and his salvation. The words of your Father, who must cut short an end for the honor of his holy name, because thousands of thousands, myriads or myriads of pages would not suffice to explain what I have begun to discuss. To his greatness there is no end. This will suffice for now. May peace be with you as you wish, and as I, your Father, who wishes you peace and prays for you, and who yearns to hear good from you. The insignificant Noson, son of Naphtali Hertz of Breslov. This letter is about Reb Yitzchak's divorce. Greetings to my honored and beloved friend Reb Naphtali. May his light shine. Mazal Tov. With God's help, she accepted the bill of divorce a week ago last Wednesday, Parashat Pinchas, in Medvedicka. may it be His will that it turn out to be well. May God soon send my son, may he live, a suitable wife, a wife with whom he will become a truly religious and righteous Jew. This is all I desire. God will do what is good. Greetings to my dear son, apple of my eye, Reb Yitzchak, may his light shine. I told you everything above. May God help you and grant you true and eternal success from now on. You should know, my beloved son, that it was only after much toil, struggle, suffering, doubts, and indecision that I finally concluded this matter and got her to agree to the divorce. Many tears have fallen, as I will, God willing, elaborate when we meet. Had it not been for God's help, an immediate solution would not have been possible. What great kindness and miracles God showed me during this time that I could conclude this properly. I will tell you some details later, God willing. All this pain and trouble I endured only to save you, in the hope that I would see your true eternal happiness when you will walk the straight path that our holy Rebbe showed us. So take heart, my son, and be strong. Do not forget all that God has done for you so far. Brace yourself and keep a grip on your thoughts. Do not allow them to wander as you have in the past. You do have free choice in this and in everything, as I have often discussed. I cannot go on. I have to travel to Kremenchug, as I told you. Don't worry about everything that you have to give back. This is also for the best. I hope to God that you will soon get a new talent, along with it a renewed determination to begin afresh in your service of God. Put your pain behind you. God will not abandon you for the sake of the Rebbe in whose name we call. The words of your Father who waits to rejoice in your eternal salvation. In late summer 1826, less than a month before Rosh Hashanah, Reb Noson's first wife, Esther Shandel, passed away. On the other hand, his son, Reb Yitzchak, remarried. Reb Yitzchak's second wife's name was Kana, and they moved to Tulchin, about 9 miles from Breslov. Reb Yitzchak found employment as manager of the post office, which included the postal bank. With thanks to God, Thursday evening, Erev Shabbat Torah reading. Vaigash 5586, Breslov. Greetings and abundant salvation to my beloved friend. What can I say, my brother? You have a little idea what I am feeling. I cannot express more than that on paper. If you want the point of truth, if you seek it like silver, if you search for it like hidden treasure, you will look for truth in the palace of truth, constructed by men of truth under the guidance of the Master of Truth. Then you will understand awe of God, and you will discover knowledge of the divine. I am sure you know what I am alluding to, for the palaces of truth are mentioned briefly at the end of the stories. The truth of the matter is that you don't know anything. Wake up, my brother, from your foolish sleep. Remember your Creator while you are young. Don't forget everything that has happened to you in this short time that you have been so busily chasing after meaningless gratification, gods of silver. You lost what you had, and you gained nothing. You have thrown off the yoke of Torah, and you have accepted the back-breaking yoke of money-making. What are you chasing? A dead dog, a single flea. Please, my brother, do not be offended if my tone is a little harsh. It is only because, as you know, I care for you so deeply. If you read the letter I sent your father, may his light shine, you will understand more about this, for everything in that letter applies to you as well. For God's sake, at least set aside time for Torah. Study the Shulchan Aruch every day with the large, or at least the small, commentaries, and study the Rebbe's books every day. Read Psalms every day without fail. Make sure to get to Uman at least once a year, which is the highest level, and if you can also arrange your trip to come and see me here, that would be even better. I cannot continue. Please respond immediately and explain everything in full detail. The words of your true and eternal friend. Letters from 5586. Also be advised that, with God's help, we are on the verge of salvation with regard to the printing. Through God's loving kindness and miracles, the letter from Vilna has already informed me that they will soon give me the permit to open the press. Then we will be worthy of spreading the Rebbe's teachings, so that God's name may be glorified and sanctified in the world. Amen. May it be His will. The words of your dear friend, awaiting salvation at all times. The carrier of this letter will explain everything, that you should immediately write to R.N. Reb Naftali, and so on. I had told myself that this time I would not respond to the crying and lamenting which fills your letters. But because of my love for you, I cannot resist, and I will respond briefly. You write that you are constantly assailed. Well, you should know that everyone else is too. I too have been attacked terribly, more than you can imagine. But man was created to toil and struggle in this world, and he must strive to overcome. Man was born to suffer. Happy is he who struggles, labors, and suffers in his efforts to escape his thoughts. Even the effort that one puts in is as pleasing to God as a sacrificial offering. This idea is expressed in the verse, "For you we are killed all day long. We are counted as sheep for the slaughter," as explained in his holy books. You need, as you know, to constantly remind yourself that a person can direct his thoughts anywhere he wishes, and that it is absolutely impossible to think two thoughts at once. If nonetheless your thoughts still run off to filthy places, you have to grab them, like a horse by its halter, and steer them back where they belong. You already know as well that you must not pay attention to these thoughts. Let the goy stand there. Just do whatever you're doing, whether it be attending to business or studying Torah, and do not look back at them. Beyond this, amidst all the distracting and bothersome thoughts, you can take heart and cheer yourself that at least you are not one of those who oppose the point of truth, the great light. His holy books explain too the positive side to all this, that for a person in your situation, every little motion or effort he makes to remove himself from evil and to attach himself to good is extremely precious to God. Sometimes, he says, these thoughts are even sent on purpose, just so that the evil animals and the pure ones, i.e. the bad and good thoughts, can fight it out. We received much more similar material from the Rebbe as well, all the most wonderful advice and encouragement. The main point is that a person must strive with all his resources to take charge of his thoughts. As for what you are experiencing, pay no attention to it at all. Most important, keep in mind and believe in the power of the Holy Elder, in whom we take refuge eternally. As the Rebbe said, God is extremely exalted, and people know nothing about it at all. Everything will turn into good through God's great power, which is constantly bestowing new and miraculous loving kindness upon the world. Rebbe Nachman's Wisdom number 1. God's kindness is endless and is renewed every morning. Press on constantly. Be strong and hope in God. The words of your Father. Baruch Hashem, Sunday, Vayikra, 5586. My beloved friends and brothers, I have already admonished you, and I'm exhorting you again. Pay close attention to everything that is happening with us, and with me in particular. Remember well what has transpired in this affair of the printing press. And when God has finished His work, you will see and understand the miracles of God. Downright miracles. What can I say? We will thank you, and we will speak out your praise for your miracles which are with us every day, for your wonders and favors which are at all times, every moment. God willing, when I return home, I will tell you a fraction. I cannot tell you everything, for this is simply impossible. I can only tell each one of you according to his own understanding. Press on! Press on determinedly to walk in the ways of the Rebbe. May the mention of a righteous and holy man be a blessing. Do as I have instructed you what I heard from his holy mouth. Just as I heard it from him, I have passed it on faithfully to you. God knows and has witnessed that I understood the Rebbe's awesome and perfect meaning better than anyone in the world. The Rebbe stated this explicitly many times. The main thing is to devote yourself with redoubled efforts to your prayers and to your conversations between you and your Creator. Let nothing in the world discourage you. Fortify yourselves and constantly begin afresh. I do not have time to go on. The words of your true and eternal friend, who speaks sincerely from the point of good in his heart, from the one who longs to rejoice in your salvation in this world and the next eternally. With God's help, Monday, Akrei Mot, 5586, Breslov to Odessa. To my beloved friend, whom I love as my own heart and soul, Reb Shimshon, may his light shine, peace and abundant salvation. I received your beautiful letter the evening of the 14th of Nisan, Erev Pesach, with the wine for the 4 cups of redemption. May you raise up the cup of redemption with many blessings and all good in this world and the next. How inspired I was by your beautiful words which revealed your heart's longing for truth. Thousands of pages could not contain all the words of truth that you desire as a response. I would need to copy all the Rebbe's books. They contain what each person needs regardless of his level, place, or time, whether he is sitting in his house or walking on the way. There is nothing hidden from you which you will not find in his holy, awesome books, if you study them with a sincere desire for the truth. Study them over and over and do not leave them. There is nothing better. Fortify yourself, my brother, my dear beloved friend, and constantly remember your Creator, even when you are engaged in business and, needless to say, when you are free. For God's sake, steal some time to talk to God as the Rebbe exhorted us so many times. Recommit yourself to this anew every day. Let nothing in the world divert you. No matter what happens to you, physically, spiritually, financially, or professionally, do not give an inch. There are always words of truth to say before God, at every moment of every day. Whatever a person is facing, good or, God forbid, bad, whether he is up or down, there is no excuse. For the truth of God is forever. That is, the truth of God is always, ever present. There is not a single thing that a person can go through that can hide or obscure, God forbid, the truth of God. For truth is the light of God himself, and words spoken in truth illumine any darkness or obscurity. A person can always find openings to return to God by speaking the truth to him with candor and sincerity. This is explained in 2 places on the verse. Make a window for the ark. Study them carefully and accustom yourself to applying their lesson. Draw yourself only to the truth, and look at all times toward pure truth alone. Be careful only to speak the truth. If you do this, you will cause the light of God to shine for you at all times, no matter where you are. You will constantly see the openings leading from darkness to great light, and you will be able to remember God at all times. For God is in every place at every moment for every person, no matter what his level. For God's sake, do not let these words grow stale for you, God forbid, because you think that you already know them. You have not even begun to realize the depth, the unbelievable depth of these words. The important thing is to fulfill them sincerely and simply. See them as new every day. For these words are renewed with each day, as expressed in the verse, "New every morning, great is your faithfulness." It is impossible to explain this on paper. Even in person, one can only convey a tiny part, like a drop in the ocean. I am really terribly busy. It was only your strong and sincere desire that compelled me to write you a few brief, yet potent, lines. That is enough for now. Make sure to always be full of joy. Don't allow sadness anywhere near you. You already have many practical suggestions and strategies to help you achieve this. The most basic are being happy that he did not make me a heathen, and through silliness and joking. Rebbe Nachman often taught that sometimes one cannot arouse oneself to joy except through silliness. In such cases, it is worth engaging in silliness in order to become joyous. See Crossing the Narrow Bridge, page 29. I don't intend to elaborate. I just wanted to mention a few critical points. You can fill in for yourself, since we have spoken about this many times and since it is explained frequently in the Rebbe's holy books. The words of your true and eternal friend, hoping to see you happy soon. Noson, the son of Reb Naftali Hertz, may his light shine, of Breslov. Greetings to my dear and beloved friend Reb Zvi Hirsch, may his light shine. All of the above is also addressed to you and to all of our comrades. There is no need to write them a second time. Peace be yours, and may you delight in abundant peace, truly and eternally, as both you and those who love you desire. I look forward to seeing you this Rosh Hashanah in Omin. May you come in gladness. Then it will be well with you in this world and the next. Greetings and salvation to my family and friends. My beloved friend, I have heard from Reb Gershon that Reb Ber of Lipovitz is in possession of certain of the Rebbe's manuscripts. Please see to it that you get them from him and send them to me immediately. He is well aware that all of the manuscripts are mine and that I received them directly from the Rebbe. Everyone knows as well that no one beside me was given any of the holy manuscripts. I need them very much for my work on the Rebbe's books, and he will be contributing something of great value and benefit to the community. The manuscripts are of no use to him at all, so it is incumbent upon him to send them to me right away. In return, I will provide him with a number of things which he can use, among them the prayers which have already been printed, along with some prayers which are still in manuscript form. Please, you must not change what I say, for they are really mine, and he is holding them against my will. Even if he did not receive them directly from me, wherever he got them, they are still mine. I gave them to various comrades of ours, and somehow they ended up with him. I never gave them to anyone except to copy and return right away. He has no use for them at all, and I need them for many reasons. He is therefore obligated to give them back to me at once. I have faith in him that he will fulfill my words, and thus he will be doing a service to the community for generations to come. His reward will be greater than if he retains them in his possession. He will be holding seized and stolen property, God forbid. No more need be said to an honest man and faithful friend like him, Reb Ber of Lipovitz. The words of your true friend. With God's help, Tuesday, Kedoshim, 5586, Breslov. Life, blessing, and a return to health. Peace and all good to my good friend Reb Naftali. May his light shine. May God give you many years of life and well-being. May everything be good. May you excel in Torah and attain greatness until the coming of Shiloh men. May it be his will. I received your letter just now, and, as you know, my love for you is so overwhelming that, without hesitation, I rush to write back. How my heart goes out to you. What pain I feel for you, my brother, my dear friend. Oh, my brother, you have broken my heart. How I rejoiced, as over great riches, when I heard reports that you were regaining your strength. Now that joy has been tainted. You tell me of your suffering, and how the pain has returned. May God cure you quickly. I hope to God that he will once again take pity on you, and that he will heal you and pardon you as a father does his son. May he send you his help from his holy place, and may he support you from Zion. May he soon send you a complete recovery. May he restore you to health, return you your strength, and grant you success in all your endeavors, with wealth, honor, life, and all good, so that you may achieve true and eternal success. All else is meaningless. A person has gained nothing for all of his labor, if it does not contribute to what is true and everlasting. I implore you, my brother, my dear beloved friend, remember all we have heard and seen from the mouth of the Elder of Elders. For there is enough in his words to inspire yourself at all times, good and, God forbid, bad. Whether you are going up or going down, anytime, on any level, no matter who. From the tallest cedar in Lebanon to the moss which grows on the wall, that is, even those on the lowest of spiritual levels. Everyone can draw vitality from these holy words, if he studies them closely and genuinely seeks the truth. Even though you are now too weak to study Torah and to pray, his holy words nonetheless provide advice and strategies by which you can draw vitality, even at a time like this. Desire, long and yearn for God and his Torah, as explained in his Rebbe Nachman's holy books. Speak to God as a child before his father. For a person who is not well has a broken heart and will at times even express it openly before other people. How much more should this be the case before God, who has delivered the blow and will heal it? Accustom yourself and force yourself with all your might to be cheerful any way you can. Illness is a result of depression, and joy is a great cure for all kinds of diseases, as is explained in Likutev Moharan. You should look there and in the many other places which discuss the tremendous importance of joy and how anyone can be happy that he did not make me a heathen, and that he separated me from those who err. Hope to God and he will save you. For without a doubt, no effort or expense, not a single step, not a single movement, not a single coin, which you expended to come close to this true, awesome, and exalted tzaddik, was ever lost. They will all come to your aid. They are all reckoned to your benefit. May his merit protect you from evil and bring you full recovery, so that you can direct your heart to him in truth and succeed in all you do to achieve enduring good. May you flourish as never before. The words of your true and eternal friend who awaits your speedy salvation. I extend loving greetings to all of you as well. For God's sake, rouse yourselves to be happy during the approaching holiday, and fulfill as you should the commandment, rejoice in your festival. As you all well know, with God's help, we have plenty to rejoice about, and this is the honest truth. Be sure to gather together in love, brotherhood, peace, and companionship. Do not be overly demanding or critical of one another. The Rebbe spoke to us many times about the importance of love between friends. Because of urgent matters, I cannot continue. The words of your true and eternal friend. With thanks to God, Friday, Erev Shabbat, Torah reading Re, 5586, Uman. Greetings to my beloved son, apple of my eye, my heart's delight, Reb Shachnei, may his light shine. I am quite irritated with you, my dear son, that you have not seen fit to raise my spirits by writing me a letter, especially now when you know of my great suffering. Please, my dear son, take a good look at all that a person goes through during his time in this world, especially you and me. Pay close attention to all the hints that God is constantly sending us to bring us closer to him, no matter where we are. As you know, there is no excuse. I yearn very much to take a long stroll with you, but the time will simply not allow it. The words of your father, who hopes for your good and everlasting success in this world and the next, and is looking forward to seeing you soon. Greetings to my beloved son, apple of my eye, Reb Yitzchak, may his light shine. I received you a letter, written from the depths of your heart, and its every word uplifted me. I also saw the letter you sent to Reb Naftali, may his light shine. I am terribly sorry to hear that your wife is feeling weak. May God quickly send her relief. Many people are waiting to see me right now, and I cannot take the time to respond to your letter. For the time being, you will have to be satisfied with the few, but potent, words that I wrote to your older brother. May he live. They apply to you as well, and to all our comrades. But this, and more than this, you have heard from me in the past. I hope to God that you will hear much more of what our incomparable Rebbe taught me, until I have revealed to you the abundant good which is buried in my heart. May God make us worthy of walking the path that the Rebbe taught, and of spending our lives on his holy, all-encompassing books. The words of your father, who is extremely busy at the moment, and who longs to see you joyful. Just this I exhort you. For God's sake, be strong and keep happy any way you can. You always have the choice. I'm very happy to hear that, nonetheless, you studied a page of the Shulchan Aruch every day. Thank God I was able to hear this. The words of your father who misses you all. Greetings to all our comrades, great and small, with a great and mighty love. May God be with you, and may each of you start afresh, right now, to walk in the ways of the Rebbe. Let each one of you, wherever you are, attach yourself to God, however you can. Bind yourself to the point which relates to you right now, as I have discussed with you extensively. Whoever has heard it, has heard it. Whoever has not heard it should try to hear it from a friend, and let each of you receive from the other, as is explained in that same lesson. Pay close attention to every single word of his books, and to whatever you hear from me, for they are your life and your length of days. The words of your true and eternal friend. Letters from 5587. The year 5587 was quite an eventful year in Reb Noson's life. In the early winter of 5587, Reb Noson, who had 2 young children at home, remarried. His second wife's name was Dishel, a widow with 2 young children of her own, a son, Reb Shmelke, and a daughter, Shona. Reb Noson, never having received a permit for the press, abandoned his goal of personally printing the prayers. Instead, he decided to print them in an established printing house. But, due to the intervention of the leaders of the Haskalah movement, the Enlightenment, the Russian Tsars had banned the printing of Hasidic works. In 5587, Tsar Nikolai issued the infamous Cantonist decree. As just one of a series of decrees to decimate the Jewish population in Russia, young Jewish children were subjected to the draft into the Russian army. They were to be drafted at the age of 12 to a training camp, where they were forced to undergo conversion to the Russian Orthodox religion. Then, at age 18, they were formally drafted into the Russian army for a period of 25 years. To facilitate the draft, the Jewish communities themselves were forced to supply their quota of children. Often, press gangs would make a sudden appearance in a city or village and begin grabbing children off the streets. And, more often than not, the government cared little for the legal draft age, and children as young as 7 and 8 years old were kidnapped and handed over to the Cantonists for forced conversion. The wealthy and influential bought their exemptions, and, as usual, the poor families suffered the most from this severe decree. Parents sometimes maimed a child by, quote, cutting off a finger rather than losing a whole child. Some sent their young children away to relatives in distant cities, while still others fled to the nearby forests, spiriting away their children and hiding out for as long as several months for the duration of an area search by the soldiers. As most of the Breslov Hasidim throughout the Ukraine were extremely poor, the community as a whole, and Reb Noson in particular, suffered greatly under these decrees. A further complication for Reb Noson that year was the activity of one of his closest followers, Reb Ozer. Due to his zealousness in praising Reb Noson's teachings, he nearly caused a rift between Reb Noson and Reb Naftali. This would have had serious consequences within the Breslover community, and Reb Noson had to move quickly to close the opening rift. With thanks to God, Monday Vayeshev, 5587, Breslov. Let the mountains bear greetings to my honored brother, my friend whom I love as myself, the learned and illustrious, outstanding in his piety, Reb Naftali, may his light shine. You should expect a letter from Tulchin, from my son, Reb Yitzchak. May he live. I am certain, given the love between us, that you will honor his request to pray for him and his wife, may she live, at the Rebbe's holy burial place. For she is in need right now of great compassion if she is to give birth easily and on time, without any problem or complication. May the child merit to many long years of goodness, amen. May it be his will. The idea of an easy childbirth is related to the days of Chanukah, which are days of thanksgiving. Thanksgiving is the essential delight of the next world, and is also bound up with the idea of legal decisions, which allow for easy births. All this, as you know, is taught in the lesson, The Days of Chanukah. We must apply this lesson at all times, constantly thanking and praising God for all the loving kindness He has shown us, especially that we have been able to be counted in the portion of our Master, Teacher, and Rebbe, the new light, the holy, awesome, and exalted. We should accustom ourselves every day to think about what an immense kindness this is, and what wonderful, incredible salvation God has sent to us, to our descendants, and to all the Jewish people now, and for generations to come. If we accustom ourselves to thank and to praise God for this every day, we will then be able to open our hearts and mouths and express ourselves fluently before God, literally like a child, begging for forgiveness before his Father. We constantly see that we are literally God's children, and how God is bestowing his loving kindness on us every minute of every hour of every day, as a father shows mercy to his son. I could give many long talks which would encourage and inspire people to apply this lesson and to come close to God at all times through the ideas of giving thanks, Chanukah, and legal decisions, as a result of which the truth shines forth in the 3 lines of truth in the 4 divisions of speech, until the joy of Shabbat is drawn into the 6 working days. Then God's absolute unity is revealed amidst all the world's diverse phenomena. This is very dear to God, as we say, "You are one. Your name is one. And who is like your people Israel, a nation singular in the world?" Happy are our ears that we merited to hear such words. If song filled our mouths as water fills the sea, if we wish to give thanks only for this lesson on Thanksgiving, our lives would be too short to sufficiently thank, honor, extol, exalt, celebrate, magnify, bless, and praise the one who has performed all these miracles for our ancestors, for us, and for all Israel, that we have been able to hear the revelation of secrets such as these. Our speech fails us. We have no means of praising the incredible wonders contained in every single utterance of this lesson, not to mention the awesome structure which together they build. If we had come to this world only to hear this, it would have been enough. But how many other incredible lessons, talks, and stories like this have we heard? What a debt we owe to God! If we had only heard one phrase of this whole lesson, it would have been enough for us. Were we to start saying Dayenu, if this alone, and that would have been enough, our whole lives would not be long enough to thank God for 1,000th of 1,000th of 10,000th of the favors he has bestowed upon our ancestors and upon us in our own time. What shall we say? He spoke and has acted in his loving kindness, goodness, mercy, and wondrousness, not as our wrongdoings would have dictated. As a father has mercy on his son, God has shown mercy to us. Fortunate are we. How good is our portion. How pleasant our lot. How beautiful our inheritance. It is appropriate now to thank God for a particular kindness he has shown us. Thank God he has helped us, and through his miracles, he has given us the opportunity and strengthened our resolve to resume the printing of the prayers. My son, Reb Nachman, may he live, has already brought 9 rays of paper from Breslov on these terrible roads. This was most certainly a miraculous and divinely supervised event, which it is beyond the power of the written word to describe. It is good to praise God for what is past, and to appeal to him regarding what is to come. May God be with us, help us, and, with his miracles, send us salvation, and let us finish printing the prayers, in accordance with his will and the will of the Rebbe. For we still need salvation and his great compassion in order to finish them. I am unable to cover the expenses, and I have already borrowed to buy the paper. Nor do I know where to print them. To travel to Minkovitz is very expensive, but here I do not even know where to begin trying. So I am writing this letter and explaining my predicament to you and to all our comrades. It is up to you, my dear brother, my soul and my heart, and to all our comrades who are with you, to go to the Rebbe's holy, awesome burial place, and to tell him all that is in your hearts. Plead with God, and beg him to have pity on our poverty and downcast state, and to help us finish the work quickly. We have no one to lean on except our Father in heaven through the power and merit of our Master, Teacher, and Rebbe, the Light of Lights. May the mention of a righteous and holy man be a blessing. God will do what is good. Even recently, with God's help, many wonderful and awesome prayers have been finished, prayers that revive the soul. Anyone who looks at them honestly surely desires and longs for them to come to print quickly. May God finish for us. for he has accomplished and he will accomplish all, auspiciously and soon. Amen. May it be his will. With God's help. Monday, Ikev, 5587, Breslov. Greetings and blessing to my honored and beloved brother, my dear friend, the learned and eminent, distinguished in Torah and awe of heaven, Reb Naphtali. May his light shine forever. How can I restrain myself? How can I keep from expressing myself and my pain before my brother, whom I love as myself, before my friend, who is even closer than a brother? The unfavorable news has surely reached you by now that the hand of God has touched our city, and 2 of us have been taken. Apples of our eye, beloved and cherished in life and in death, Reb Yisrael HaKohen, may the mention of a righteous man be a blessing, and his brother-in-law, the distinguished and eminent Reb Asher Zelig, may the mention of a righteous man be a blessing. Woe for the calamity that has befallen us. May the giver of salvation and solace soon send us salvation and comfort. May their souls ascend to the throne of glory, the source from which they were hewn. May they be worthy of greeting immediately the reflection of the Ancient of Days, our Master, Teacher, and Rebbe, the new light. May the mention of a righteous and holy man be a blessing. May their souls be given eternal life, and may God send us solace and release us from all of our suffering, particularly those of the soul, so that from now on, at least, we may accustom ourselves to always be in the world to come, that we may always be as God desires us. Amen. On the 9th of Av, amidst my mourning and great pain over the destruction of the Holy Temple and over our deeds which prevent its reconstruction, the carrier of this letter, Reb Michael, arrived at my house, and with him was Reb Nachman. May his light shine. I stood there shocked, especially because of the terrible weakness in Reb Michel's feet. He is still not the beggar without feet, though. May God allow us also to hear that story. I understood from them that they had left on their journey from Oman without taking leave of you. I sincerely tried to restrain myself with all my power so as not to pain them, but I could not, and I rebuked them harshly. I gave them a welcome like the pierce of a sword. I really felt terribly sorry for them because I knew that their intentions were only for heaven. But nonetheless, I could not hold back, and I reprimanded them bitterly for some time. I even considered refusing to allow them to stay over Shabbat, but there were several other guests here from Nemirov, and I did not want to humiliate them like that. At present, I am forced to send them home and to pay for their carriage. With the condition of Reb Michel's feet, I'm afraid that a journey on foot would threaten his life, God forbid. Reb Michel has apologized to me profusely. He told me that at first he was not particularly eager to come and see me, but after you had told him repeatedly that he absolutely must come to be with me in Breslov, he decided to come. He recounted to me numerous statements you had made about the importance of his making the journey. Still, he said, he was afraid to ask your permission to go, on the chance that you would deny his request, as would have been fitting, on account of his feet. So I have come now with a prayer and a plea to your honor, that you take pity on him and on Reb Nachman, and that you stop punishing them. They have already suffered a great deal from my rebukes, along with the hardships of the trip. It would be appropriate now to show them compassion and draw them near, and not to push them away anymore, God forbid. Please, my brother, my dear friend, remember the compassion and love which our Master, Teacher, and Rebbe showed to us, and how he took us and brought us out from where he did, and brought us so very close to him, closer than anyone else in the world, closer even than any of our comrades. He stated explicitly on many occasions that we understood him better than anyone. Still, though, neither of us has any idea of what God did for us by having the 2 of us know the Rebbe better than anyone else in the whole human race, more even than some of his greatest and most pious followers. There is no point in trying to go into this on paper, for the history of how we came close to the Rebbe is a story from the beginning of time. No more can be said about it. So we should carry out the Rebbe's wishes and follow his path by having compassion, as he did, upon anyone who wants to draw near to his exalted name. We must refrain from looking at what is bad about each person, and from focusing on his shortcomings, and look rather only at what is good. Please, my beloved brother, my heart and soul, remember and reflect upon what I am saying with all the goodness of your heart. My words are not empty. I am not attempting to appease you just for them, but for all of our comrades in Oman. I was already aware that you have been angry for many weeks now for no good reason, especially at Reb Ozer, with whom you were so enraged. Even if he was wrong for not telling you when that fellow Moshe left Uman, for here without your permission, you shouldn't blame him so much, and you have punished him very much already. You know that we must fulfill the verse, amidst anger remember compassion. We must imitate the qualities of the Holy One, blessed be He, by showing mercy, particularly when we are angry, as is explained in the lesson The Chest, especially since, as we both know, Reb Ozer had the best intentions and was only trying to bring someone closer to the Rebbe. He was not, God forbid, trying to spite you. So even if we think that he may have done wrong, we must forgive him, especially since you have already been quite angry with him and he has taken his punishment. So you would do well to be merciful to him and to all our comrades in Uman, and to welcome them and not push them away, God forbid. Their intentions are for the sake of heaven. It is God's will and the Rebbe's that we draw them close. In addition to all this, you must be sensitive to the way all this looks, and how it may end up bringing us disrepute and discrediting everything we are, God forbid. What will people, especially our opponents, say when they see that there is controversy even within our own ranks? Won't they say, God forbid, that there is already conflict between Noson and Naphtali, and that the one is angry when someone goes to the other? Woe to the ears that hear such words. We already have regrets enough from the argument in Dashev. Wouldn't it be a shame to create more? And especially between us who, more than any of our comrades, are like brothers and such dear friends. The love we feel for each other should be even stronger, given that we both were able to know the Rebbe as we did, and that both of us have so great a portion of merit from the work we do to help the community for generations to come. We must therefore watch ourselves very carefully, so that the love which exists between us does not become tainted, even in the slightest. Even if there is no taint at all, we still must guard against appearances, lest people say, God forbid, what they might. So let bygones be bygones. Listen to me now, my beloved brother. Try to be less demanding and put your anger aside. Go back to them. Show them compassion. Draw them near to you with love. You will truly give them new life and restore many Jewish souls. With each one it will, as if you had restored an entire universe. They have already cried many tears before God and before me that you have rejected them so. Thus I could not keep from writing you. I trust, given the great love that exists between us, that you will carry out these words of mine, spoken to you in honesty and sincerity. I do not wish to discuss this further in writing, but if God is with me, we will talk about it face to face, God willing. Further, I ask you please to inform me if you have any information about the Rebbe's daughter, the righteous Sarah. May she live. What has happened with her? Did she give birth safely? I am suffering terribly not knowing how she is. May God quickly send us good tidings. The words of your true and eternal friend, Noson of Breslov. Adil, may she live, and her son Reb Avram Ber, may he live, who prays with great concentration, send you greetings. Also her daughter Rivka Miriam, may she live, sends you greetings. All of our comrades send loving regards.